All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to our latest episode of the McKinney Podcast, where we celebrate what makes us unique by nature. I'm Fred with FredShots, here coming to you from the RiskWell studios, and our co-host, James. You know, we actually own businesses, and there are certain times where meeting with clients can only happen at certain times, and this is an unfortunate one. However, to make up for that, while we are down one podcast host, you have two guests in the studio today. And these aren't just any guests. I imagine that I might actually have very little to say during this episode, because coming to us from the comedy arena are Jared and Vaughn. So out there, give them a big old clap of applause, because you know this is going to be an amazing episode. All right, so the comedy arena.
Yes.
Why a comedy arena?
Why a comedy arena?
Yes. And who wants to go first?
I guess I'll go first.
Go ahead.
So the Comedy Arena is a comedy venue here in downtown McKinney. We've been open a little over 8 years now.
Yeah.
We specialize in everything from improv to stand-up to sketch to storytelling. Anything comedy related or that can be touched by comedy, we pretty much touch it.
Hence in the comedy arena.
If it's in the arena of comedy, we specialize.
This is going to be, like I feel like, just the little kid amongst, giants here, because I take a very humorous approach to life. Because I believe, long before there was YOLO, I was like, man, you know what? It's like, last I checked, you only get one go round.
Yeah.
And I would see like my friends when I was growing up, or parents, or, in the business world now, I see people just stress over everything. And I understand, money, it's a touch point. Time, it's a touch point, and those are both resources that I don't have enough of. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? It's like there's only one go round, and I don't think I need to add to the stress that's already out there. Exactly. So I just kind of let that go, and it's like, what can be laughed about this? Because last I checked, every single situation in life, there's some comedian who is making major bank off of my situation, and it hits even better because I swear he's reading my mail, or she's reading my mail, and I'm like you're spying on me, right? Because that's how you got this. Okay, so Jared, tell, when your feet first hit the earth, where was it, and what brought you to Texas?
I grew up in Texas. Texas was home. I was actually from the Houston area, went to school near the Austin area, and now I'm in the Dallas area. So I'm just going from
just a little bit more north.
Yeah, just keep going north. Yeah, just take 35 all the way. Or
so what's left after this? You're going to go hit, like Childress, Electra, one of those places?
Oh, is that a step up or a step down? I don't know. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy where I'm at right now, actually.
So what were you doing prior to the comedy arena?
I was in marketing, actually. I worked on brands like Purina, Domino's, a bunch of advertising for different things. Purina is a funny story because I actually pretended that I had a pet for 8 years while I was on that account, just so I could feel close. Yeah. I had a dog that I accidentally had. I couldn't take care of this dog anymore, this poor, unfortunate fake dog.
so with Purina. So
yeah, I guess I was improving pretty much my whole life. Anyway, I thought I'd actually make it more of a career.
All right. And Vaughn, for you, what were you prior to the comedy arena?
Prior to the comedy arena, I was in marketing as well, but I was on the creative side. I was a senior art director for companies like Amazon, JCPenney's, Michaels, originally from New York, and I moved to Texas, I guess, 32 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you're going south then?
I'm going south.
Yeah. We're meeting in the middle of McKinney.
That's how we met. We met in the middle.
Right.
Yeah. So I was doing a lot of that, and then started doing comedy, and I was like, you know what? This is way better than corporate America.
So you were both in marketing.
Mm-hmm.
You're both
not
in
the same place or at the same time. Yeah.
So when you were with, you said JCPenney, did you have an imaginary family of,
No, but JCPenney's does have an imaginary customer that we all worked towards. I think back then her name was Jen, and we were trying to cater all of our business to Jen and that customer client base. So yeah, I guess kind of.
So if I feel like a JCPenney ad hit for me, that's part of my Jen. That's
part of your Jen. You're zoning into your Jen.
Excellent. Okay, so now, were your marketing campaigns or ideas, were they humor based?
Some of them were.
Yeah.
I worked on a Stanley Steamer campaign early on, and we did some really funny things with like dogs doing stuff to carpets and things like that. But the humor piece really is just what's the emotional connection that would appeal to an audience in that regard. But some of them are just straight up information. Hey, buy one, get one free.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
And so you developed this from your imaginary pet that.
You know, it's funny. I didn't think about that. That came first.
Yeah,
so I guess
pet
I've
name?
always had pets somehow connected. And now I have a business that you can only bring a pet in if it's a service animal.
It's a service animal, yeah.
Too funny. And for you, were your campaigns humorous?
My last corporate job was with Amazon, and I was the senior art director there for a photo studio, and all the things that we did were humorous based. I worked for the brand called Woot.
Oh, yes.
And that brand is all about funny and humor and how can you push the envelope of not getting in trouble.
Yeah.
I would say that last corporate job pushed a lot of the humor.
Yeah, I might have bought a couple things from Woot because for a while there I was on their
Daily deals.
Their email, daily deals, and
you probably saw my work then. No, you definitely saw my work if you were on Woot. Yeah.
Get an email at 12:06 a.m. Like you need this vacuum.
You need it now. It's only going to be on sale for the next 23 hours.
Yeah. You know that FOMO, that fear of missing out, and the fact that the emails campaigns were so colorful
and creative,
and they did break the rules. Well, I don't know what the rules are, but they were definitely engaging,
pushing the envelope,
and they weren't just hey, buy this, whatever, and why you need it was definitely one of those things. But okay, so just on a little side trip here, we used to attend Prestonwood Church down there in Plano, and I would leave there, and I swear I saw a Woot sign like on a strip somewhere like across from there, but
well, the corporate office is in Carrollton.
Okay, so
it's right in Carrollton, right off 75.
So then I was right.
He was right.
It was one of those things. Like I think that's So I always wanted to. I should have just gone up there one day during the week and knocked on the door and said, "Is this Woot?"
And they'd be like, "Yes, it is."
And I would have seen you. Too funny. Okay, so let's fast forward. So we've got South Texas and New York. What brought the two of you together? Did you just happen to be downtown McKinney one day and you're like walking your imaginary dog, looking for Jen, and then you just said, let's
answer to Craigslist. No. Vaughn was actually doing auditions for a troupe that he had just recently kind of taken ownership of.
Created.
Yeah.
We were part of another troupe, and that troupe closed. And then at the end of the day, we were all like, well, what are we going to do? We still want to perform. So we came up with a company called...
This is like in 2008.
Yeah, 2008. Came out with a company called Locked Out Productions, where we did improv, did things like that. And about a year later, we had open auditions, and Jared auditioned. And
the room was so small. It wasn't even this big. All the audition people couldn't fit in the same room.
Yeah, we had to take turns in the hallway.
Yeah.
We didn't have a space to do auditions. We had to find a little theater that had space, and we got to use their office while other things were working.
It was a closet. There was like tables and chairs everywhere.
Yeah, we were trying to be as legit as possible without any money.
Yeah. So I walked in. I'm like, I don't even know if this is this is gonna be a very
is this where I get
sketchy thing. Yeah.
Am I gonna get mugged?
I could see train tracks on one side, and I'm in this other room with this guy telling me to make up jokes on the spot.
Stage, I think is what it was called, Stage in Dallas. I don't even know if they're still in business. But yeah, we had those auditions. We had probably 15 people that showed up, and I think out of those 15 people, Jared might be the only one left from that audition.
Oh, really?
That was almost, 17 years ago?
09, I think.
17 years ago. So yeah, started that company, started doing shows. We were kind of like a nomad troupe. We'd perform at churches and halls and schools, wherever we could find a stage. And then fast forward, we kind of gotten a little bit more momentum behind us. We started getting a little bit busier. At the time, we both had corporate jobs. We were still doing that, and this was our side hobby, just something to do for fun. But we were performing every single weekend. We did that for years.
Everything was like in a tool chest that we would lug behind us, and
we had a tool chest that had costumes in it, had a register. We literally brought everything, every single show. It was a haul.
Our own sound equipment,
everything,
speakers. Yeah.
It got to the point where it's like, man, this is a lot of fun, but this part is a lot of work. So in 2017, actually it
was earlier than that.
Yeah, 2014. I
think it was 2014.
2014. We were all rehearsing one day. We we would practice at the Addison Improv. That's where we would have our troop rehearsals. And we were all circling up at the end. And I told the group, I said, hey, in 3 years, I'm going to open up a club. And everyone's like, oh, that's cool. But, you tell people you're going to do something, like, oh, whatever. And almost 3 years to the day, we opened the club. And at that point, before then, I said, hey, Jared, we're going to do this thing. I want to, do you want to be a part of it? And we had other people that wanted to be a part of it, but they all didn't show up like Jared showed up. So they all went to the wayside and they were no longer part of the business. And then fast forward 3 years later, it's like, oh, we're here. And we started looking for space. We started looking in Addison, we looked in Richardson, we looked in Dallas. And it was almost kismic how it happened. I got a phone call from a realtor saying, hey, I have this brand new building here in McKinney and wanted to know if you want to come out and take a look at it, see if you'd be interested in opening up a club. And I was like, how did he know we were looking to open up a club? Like, was he in our emails? Like, how did he know?
This is before social media was listening to your phones, I think.
Before they were all listening in. Yeah. So fast forward, we went and checked out the spot and we saw the square and we're like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is kind of quaint. And then we saw the building. It was a brand new building. Mm-hmm. There were twin buildings, and right next to it was a building that wasn't even finished, completed, being built yet.
You can still see the
structures.
Yeah,
they weren't even done building it. So we moved in 1,500 square feet. We took over that space. We had 40 seats. We were BYOB. We were just downstairs. Our stage was 6 feet by 12 feet. We had a little curtain. We had concessions because we didn't have a liquor license. We were selling popcorn and candy. Stickers, like whatever we could sell.
We had an ice maker that we always forgot to turn on. So everybody wanted ice. We're like, can you hold on like 45 minutes?
Yeah, we were BYOB. So across the street from us was a gas station and people would come and be like, hey, do you guys have, liquor or beer or what? We're like, no, you can go across the street, BYOB. And 6 months later, that gas station owner came across the street. He's like, hey, I want to come over and thank you guys because since you guys moved in, our business has been booming with beer and liquor. And we've been selling a lot of beer and liquor thanks to you guys. And I kind of looked at Jared and I was like, man, I wish we were getting that money.
After the shows, though, they bought too much like beer. So they would like say, hey, this is for you guys now. We'd like walk with like, a case of Corona. Like, what are we going to do with this? We already got to barely have enough room to house our sound equipment.
So we did that in that space for 3 years. And for us, the business was fun. We were still doing it on the weekends. We were literally only open Fridays and Saturdays. We did like 4 shows a week. It was just kind of like our hobby thing. Mm-hmm. We weren't making a ton of money, but we were making enough money to pay the rent, to pay the players, to, just to still have fun. But during those 3 years, what we've noticed is customers would come in and go, oh, McKinney has a comedy club. And they'd walk through the doors and they'd go, oh, this is cute. Oh, you guys, can we have dinner? No, we don't do dinner here. Can we buy? No, we don't do that here. And it's like, oh, well, this is cute. And they would come, they would see the show, they would love the show. And then they'd be like, oh, we're going to bring our friends and we're going to come back. And a lot of them did come back. But what we found is that we weren't meeting customers' expectations. Mm-hmm. They were coming in, they were thinking comedy club. They come in and they see an improv show and it's like maybe not what they quite expected. Then COVID hit. So that was fun.
10 days after we re-signed our lease.
Nice.
We just re-signed our lease and we were like, okay, great. 10 days later, COVID happened and everybody shut down. And in signing that lease, we had determined that we were going to expand the club because we knew we weren't meeting expectations. So what we did was we talked to the landlord and we said, hey, we need to acquire more space. We'd like to move upstairs. And he's like, oh, great. Just move your club upstairs. And we were like, no, we want to move upstairs and downstairs. He's like, well, how are you going to do that? I was like, well, I was thinking you could probably put a hole in the ceiling and put some stairs and connect the two spaces. And he's like, nah, the city won't let you do that. I was like, we didn't even ask him yet. Let's ask him first. Mm-hmm. And the city was like, yeah, no problem. Go ahead and do it. So in 2020, we expanded the club. We added the kitchen. We added a bar. We literally did a huge major overhaul. We changed the clubs inside and out. And then
while that was going on, though, we took all of our shows online. Mm-hmm. And we did a show with you, Fred. Mm-hmm. You helped us in one of our shows called Fibbers, which was a show where we invited all these McKinney merchants to come on online with us and basically tell truths or lie about what they do.
Yes.
And then we streamed it to the masses.
Yes.
And all 18 of those people watched it.
But I will say this, Fred, I think, was the only one. He was always on time with his Zoom abilities. So I appreciate that. It does not go unnoticed.
I want to give a shout out to my wife because, she is the schedule driven person, and she, if it weren't for her, there'd be no FredShots, because you have to be here, you have to be here, you have to be here. I'm like, yes, ma'am, and I just go and do it. I operated my strength, which is photography, and she's administrative. So I don't try to do anything administrative. So as far as I know, I have a checkbook. I haven't seen it. I have no idea about any of those things. But man, give me a camera and I'm in. Okay, so I'm rolling over, just what you've shared here. So tell me about your up and coming. Like I came up with the idea that y'all are serious comedians. Mm-hmm. All right, there's comedians, but y'all are serious about it. Mm-hmm. Because you said, like of all the people that auditioned, Jared's the only one who's still here, because the others just I guess, I don't know, undependable or life, whatever, but y'all are serious comedians. What was it like? What was your stand-up routine career prior to the comedy arena?
I've always been a theater guy. Mm-hmm. Like that was my high school, college stuff. I did that a lot. I enjoyed performing.
What was your favorite production
that I did?
Yeah, you were in. Yes,
gosh, I did Grapes of Wrath, which is a pretty serious, dramatic.
Was that a comedy?
It's not a comedy, but it backstage. It was all comedy. But I don't know. For me, it's something about making the audience feel something, mm-hmm. and I enjoy doing that. Whether it's, I just find it's more fun to do that in a comedy setting now, mm-hmm. than it is just doing some dramatic monologue. Like mm-hmm. if you can make someone have like a guttural reaction of happiness versus mm-hmm. sad, I just think that's such a more fun way to go.
Mm-hmm. So when did you start doing comedy, and was it stand up, or was it, where was your break into that?
So when I was in the advertising world, I started going through, the only analogy I can think of is like Edward Norton's character from Fight Club, just mm-hmm. going to all those self-help groups for mm-hmm. fun. I just started going to auditions for fun. And then I started getting not cast and stuff. So I was basically putting myself through rejection over and over again, which seemed it started taking a toll on me until I actually auditioned for this improv troupe of Vaughn's and got cast. And I think that was the start of like, now I'm a part of something. You're a part of more of an ensemble. Mm-hmm. And it's not about you. It's about the whole group. Mm-hmm. And it's not about you looking good, but trying to make other people look good. Mm-hmm. I mean, if I try to make Vaughn look good and he tries to make you look good and you try to make me look good, we will all look awesome. Look good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I loved that concept of it. That it's not about the you, it's about the we kind of thing. Mm-hmm. The team, absolutely. And he shows that more than I think I've seen others do, especially coming from like a world of sales where everyone's kind of, dog eat dog a little bit. It was a completely different world. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I'm answering your question or not.
No. But that's, just trying to understand, because
but for me, it wasn't so much the stand-up piece, because that's such a singular thing. There's so much more to comedy than just someone standing up behind a microphone and telling mm-hmm. jokes. There's that piece, absolutely, and that mm-hmm. stuff is awesome. Mm-hmm. But there's so much other things that make people laugh, and I like trying to figure out what those different things are for different audiences.
Oh, I love it. Okay, and for you, Vaughn, what was the switch?
For me, funny but not funny. It was a divorce. I was going through a divorce at that time, and at that point in my life, I was looking for some levity. Mm-hmm. So I started going to the Addison Improv every single week. Every Wednesday, I sat at table 32. I ordered the chicken breasts and the mashed potatoes and the broccoli every single week. And I did that for almost 6 months. And hanging out there, after a while, I was like, man, these guys really aren't that funny. Like, I mean, it's a Wednesday, so it's not like your headliners. It's your local guys.
That's right, yes.
And I thought I could do at least that good. If not better, I could at least do that good. But then I kind of just threw the thought away. And then the general manager at the time, Chris Owensby, he's like, hey, you're a big guy. I mean, I'm 6'7", mm-hmm. 225 pounds. He's like, you want to work the door here? I was like, no, I got kids. I got a corporate job. I just come here just for fun. And he asked me like every time he saw me. And eventually he's like, if you work here, you get free food. You order the chicken. You order the same thing every time. And you get to watch shows for free. And I was like, oh, man, that's 2 free things. I was like, and you're going to pay me to do it. So I was like, fine. So I started working the door or security at the Addison Improv, and I did it for a few years. And after doing that, seeing even more comics and seeing more professionals and kind of watching the timing and watching the things, I was like, oh, I get it. I think I could do this. Took a writing class. After taking a writing class, I did my first show at the Addison Improv, which is fitting. And then from there, I just started doing more and more stand-up. And after doing stand-up for a while, I enjoyed it. But to move up in stand-up, you have to travel. Mm-hmm. You have to go to different clubs in Houston and LA and New York. And I had young kids. I couldn't just up and leave and be like, I'm going to be gone for a weekend, So never really went that path. Then I saw a show. It was an improv show. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. I've never really was exposed to improv. After seeing that improv show, I took an improv class. And I was like, this is cool. Because I'm kind of like Jared, like all about sports and working as a team. I played sports in high school. It just made sense to me that I make you look good, you make me look good, we build this thing together. It just seemed very more organic for me. After doing that, I auditioned for a troupe called Comedy Sports, which is an international troupe. There's like almost 30 of them worldwide. I got on, and that kind of started, I kind of just kept going from there. And this was in the early 2000s.
Now, that's the one where you've got teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I know, like, is it MTV or someone has like a
Wild 'N Out.
That's it. Where it's more like just insults at each other.
It's not really insults. I mean, they turned that show they made that show a little bit more urban, I guess, where they do rap, they do insults, your mama jokes, things like that. But that show, that Nick Cannon show, actually was spurred from Comedy Sports.
Really?
Spurred from theater sports.
How about that?
It's basically two teams, two improv groups, competing against each other, doing skits, and hopefully the audience will choose you.
Yes.
And at the end of the show, one team wins.
Yes.
And we do a version of that called Comedy Sports. And you have a referee, there's fouls, the audience gets to yell out suggestions, so it's fully audience participation. Sometimes audience members gets to go on stage and actually perform with the people.
And that show we actually have for all audiences. We make it accessible so that no matter how old you are, parents can bring their kids or kids can bring their older parents, kids, whatever, what have you. Yeah.
So it's for everybody.
Yeah.
I love that because, like the Wild 'N Out, thank you. As with all things, online or social media, at some point, the algorithm for whatever I'm on says, oh, you should watch some of this, you know? So I do watch some of it. And I'm like, your mama's so big, and she sits around the house, it's classic. But watching those, I'm like, it's like, man, there's some really good stuff on there, but there is a crude side to it. I was like, oh, well, I couldn't, share this video because it's just inappropriate. But I love that, and I do remember when, actually it was our friend Sherry Bell.
Oh yeah.
I remember her talking about, going to the Comedy Arena and her friend Vaughn and all these things. And then you came to a couple of the McKinney Chamber of Commerce Wednesday mornings wearing your striped, referee shirt.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, how about that? So just, that's great to hear though, that, you're part of something that is now, internationally recognized, that you're the inspiration for that. That's
not
amazing.
The inspiration for it.
Well, the concept of the
so the brand it's almost like a franchise, founded by Dick Chudnow in Milwaukee. They're 40.
84. So 41 years.
41 years. And we've been operating one here in DFW because only certain people you have to have the license to do the show.
Sure.
And we have the license to do it here in the DFW area. We've been doing it for 11, 12 years.
Since 14,
12 years now. So, yeah.
All right. So who's your inspiration in terms of comedian or show?
So funny. We get that question all the time. Who's your favorite comic? Who's your favorite show? All that stuff. And it's
like who did you identify with?
But
who caught your attention early on? How about that? Maybe not necessarily inspiration, but you're like, man, that guy's funny or that gal's funny. I need to, I'll tune into them. Of course, I'm looking at your. I think we're all in the same relative age bracket. So I just turned 55. I imagine you're somewhere also in that block. So back when we were younger, we didn't pull up a phone and do a Google search. It was basically someone telling you something, or like for me, I would go to my friend's house and they had cable TV.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what's HBO?
Yeah.
I was like, Dad, can we get HBO? And it's like, they don't offer it. They didn't offer the satellite. No one had that, so any of those things. But, who's one of the early comedians that you remember seeing and not necessarily inspired, but they just were funny?
I remember thinking how funny the Weird Al albums were.
Yes.
And the musical comedy stuff. So all that music comedy things.
Weird Al's a genius.
Yeah.
That guy's brilliant.
Yeah.
The way he's able to work those things in, and
He figured it out.
that's right.
Oddly enough, keeps it clean too.
Yes.
He's not a, raunchy, dirty. Yeah. Yeah.
Another One Rides the Bus was probably my first oh, I love Weird Al.
Yeah.
And he's only gotten better since then. All right, and for you?
Hands down, easy question to answer. It's my grandfather.
Oh.
I remember when my brother and I were super young, my grandfather would tell us he just tells jokes. Some of them dirty, some of them not. And it was like the first time that it registered to me that words could invoke laughter.
Mm-hmm.
So I took all those jokes and, of course, told them all at school, and got my friends to laugh. And I was
Yes.
like, oh, I like this.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. So he was the first person to inspire me when it comes to just straight up comedy. Didn't really know it at the time, but looking back as an adult, I can definitively say it was my grandfather. But if you were to ask me today, people always ask, who's your favorite comic? The question that I always ask, I always say this guy. He's my favorite comic because all the other comics, they're celebrities. I don't know them.
Mm-hmm.
They're just people that I see on a screen. But I've known this guy almost 2 decades.
He's pointing at me for those who are just
Yeah,
listening.
if you can't see, he's sitting on that side.
I'm just listening. I don't know where how you engage, you absorb this information.
This guy. We've been together for almost 17 years. We performed together. He's like one of my best friends. Seen his kids raise. He's seen my kids grow up. We've laughed. I probably laughed with him more than I laughed with anybody else in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So to go pay a ticket to go see somebody to make me laugh or hang out with him for an hour for free,
No question.
and get paid and make other people laugh. So
right.
I would say Jared Berger is probably one of my favorite comedians that's out there.
How about that? I love that. And so
I will go second next time we get this question. I say Weird Al, you say me.
No, I said my grandfather, then you.
That's fair. That's fair.
And so you're number 2.
I only heard my name and zoned out everything else.
So what we need is, we have an empty spot. So someone in the listening audience, you have a connection to Weird Al. All right. And we'll need him here in the studio for round 2 with Jared and Vaughn. Okay. So,
and if anyone's got a connection to your grandfather, we'll figure that one.
That'd be a hard one.
Yeah.
That'd be a hard one.
I feel it's worth asking though.
I'd be afraid if he showed up. We should all be scared if he showed up.
Scared
Yeah.
Okay. So on that topic, in terms of your industry and your field, I imagine that you have had larger names in the comedic arena or field industry in the audience. Do you feel any sort of pressure when there's if I don't know, Seinfeld, if he wound up in the audience, would there be no pressure?
I'm not trying to impress him.
No.
I don't care. I mean, that doesn't mean any. I don't know. I'm speaking for myself, but I don't fanboy anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't follow sports. I don't follow movies. Like any celebrity can walk through this door right now, and I'd be like, "Hey, cool, great to meet you." I don't fanboy. So if they were in the audience, I don't think I would carry either way. The same. Just I don't know. I'm just not bent that way.
Yeah.
We've had some celebrities come into the club, and some of the other players have gotten really excited. Like, hey, we got to, put on a good show. And I think Vaughn and I are like, why is this show different than the other show? Like, why would we be doing anything different? Let's keep doing what we know works. Right. And,
that's integrity. Doing the same thing regardless.
So it was like, wait, what have we been doing all this other time?
What was happening before?
Why did we? We need to talk right now. But also, you don't know who's in the house.
Ever.
And, so why would you? Yeah, you can't let it get to you kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I think, and then there's also all these comics that sometimes they have these parallel thoughts. So they might create the same joke. They didn't copy each other. They just happen to think the exact same way. But then two people hear that similar joke, and now all of a sudden there's a competition for whose joke it actually is. And it's not the That's a hard way to live your comedy journey like that, constantly questioning.
I have a story.
Go ahead.
So when I was doing stand-up in New York, I did this show at stand-up New York. And after I went up, Jim Gaffigan went up. He just showed up. He just went up and he told a joke. And it was a joke I had also written. And his was hilarious. I mean, and I was like, oh, okay. I can never tell that joke because Jim Gaffigan just told it on stage. And if I ever tell it, people will think that I copied Jim Gaffigan. And I was kind of bummed about it. But then I started thinking, wait a minute, I'm on the same wavelength of writing jokes as Jim Gaffigan. Yes. So I'm going to take that as a win, even though I can't use that joke. But it's a win that I have a joke that's comparable to this guy who's huge. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter who's in the audience, but you know, as Jared mentioned, sometimes you are on the same wavelength because you know there's only so many things you can talk about. And the joke was about Jesus and how Joseph must have been as a stepdad. You know, how do you compare? It's like, you're not my real dad. You know, it's a joke along those lines. But yeah.
That's funny. It's like I think it's Michael Jr. talked about. You know, he has a whole string of, or you know, one of his subjects or topics is growing up with Jesus or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you never played hide and seek with him. Like
never go swimming with him.
I see you. That's right. Those things. Okay, so was there ever a time that you just absolutely bombed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All the time. I mean, not all the time.
Unless there's someone famous in the audience, and then you put on a good show, right?
We did a show shortly after we opened where it was only like 2 people in the audience. And we're like, we're going to give them a good show. And they had already come in, like, they had pre-partied. And this was just like, we're essentially babysitting this couple until their Uber shows up.
Just keeping them from walking out.
Yeah. And I would say that show was really, really hard.
I enjoyed that show.
I didn't say I enjoyed it. It was just really hard to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's been times where things that you plan to go a certain way, they just don't go that way. And you just we try to find where's the fun in that and try to make that more special than, and I think with improv, we're able to do that a little easier. With stand-up, it's hard. Like, I've written these jokes. I'm going to deliver these jokes for the next 10 minutes. If you don't like them,
this is all I got.
You got to, I don't have, now do this material kind of thing.
And another way to look at it, too, is because, it's like playing a sport. I tell people, I have, students that'll come off after seeing a show or doing a show, and they're like, man, that was really horrible. Nobody laughed and they didn't do anything. And I use the analogy of, have you ever played a sport in school? And it's like, yeah, I played football or basketball, whatever. And I would say, did you win every single game you played? He's like, no. It's like, so are you a horrible athlete because of it? No, I just didn't have a good game. It's like, same thing. You just didn't have a good show. Walk it off and get them next time. I mean,
but there's been other instances where we walk off the stage thinking, oh man, that show was not good. And as we're walking off, audience are like, that was amazing. That was so funny.
I love that. Like, that was my favorite part.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you liked it. Good. Maybe our standards are just somewhere.
Yeah, we have higher expectations for ourselves, and we're like, we didn't hit that the way we wanted to. But the audience, they don't know. They don't know when you mess up. They have no idea that you messed up unless you tell them that you messed up. So in our minds, I'm like, I messed up. But the audience is like, that was hilarious. And we're like, oh, okay. All right.
Just roll with it.
Yes, it was.
It's like drag racing. You just watch the tree go down. As soon as the light hits green, gas pedal.
That's right.
Tunnel vision. Yeah.
Gas pedal till you hit the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that though. I said, I have a diverse taste in, what goes before my eyes and in my ears. But whose line is it anyway?
Sure.
I think has, absolutely capitalized on the whole improv thing.
We actually had Laura Hall from Whose Line at the club a couple of years in a row doing some musical improv at the Comedy Arena.
Oh.
Yeah.
And teaching some classes with us as well.
Yeah. And that kind of like brings me to the next thing. It's more than just the Comedy Arena now. You have like a class that you offer.
A whole training center.
And a cafe, right?
Yeah.
All right. So tell us about the class. Tell us about that.
You want to go?
Yeah. So when was it? I don't know, a couple of years ago when we got out. So the second floor is doing really well, and we're having these classes, and the only places we can actually have classes are like on the main stage where the show happens, or downstairs in the bar area,
in the cafe area.
Yeah.
Well, y'all didn't have a closet or a conference room?
No, actually,
tables out of the way?
we did not have a closet.
Yeah, we had a cabinet. The shelves were already taken.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah,
you should have gone back to your roots.
We should have.
Everybody else out in the
we
hallway.
never think about closets for these spaces. There was actually a photography studio on the third floor of the space that we're in now, and that guy decided that he was not going to renew his lease, so that space became available. And Vaughn and I looked at each other and talked and thought, what if we turned that into an actual training center where we can actually teach not classes, but we can teach more than just once every couple of months. So we did, and we created that space that now has 2 different classrooms as well as like a green room that's a little more I guess special for our out-of-town guests or any of our guests that are going to be on our stage. And through that training center, we teach everything from adults and teens and kids in improv and sketch and stand-up and storytelling and confidence, from public speaking, hosting, producing shows.
Voiceover, acting.
There's also yoga going on in that space on the weekends as well. And now it's a nonprofit as well. So it's actually a 501c3, and we're trying to give back and create scholarships and let people understand that, everything we're teaching as far as comedy goes, it might be for you to learn how to become the next stand-up and go touring and stuff like that. But it also just might be because you want to try a different skill and you might want to get better at your confidence. And comedy skills that we teach are actually very applicable in the
real world.
Yeah, corporate America space. Us talking about starting from a place of yes and trying to like build something together makes us go further than just, no, I don't like your idea. Let's try something different.
Yeah, no, I love that because, for me, I meet a lot of people where they schedule online or through text or, occasionally through the phone. But I'm going into people's work environments. I don't know who I'm looking for. I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
But, I have to be able to put them at ease. First off, I'm going to set up everything. We're gonna bathe you in constant lights, not strobes, but we're gonna basically have these steady lights on you. And now I've got to get you to relax, and just be you. And so I never realized it, but my approach is, as I'm talking to people, I'm trying to find things that we have in common, and from there, things that we could commiserate on. So I'm always asking, you married, you have kids, stuff like that. And much the same as, your Stanley Steamer. And with children, I think, man, when my kid spilled, red Kool-Aid on the only white carpet that we had,
of course,
it was the end of the world right there, and I'm ready to, lose my cookies and everything else. And, it was terrible, absolutely terrible. But now the kids are grown, whatever, I look back or you run into someone else whose kid has stained the carpet and it's funny.
Yeah.
It is super funny.
Because you've been there.
That's right. You've been there. And so, with your...
It's funny you say, because every time I tell Vaughn something my kid's done that I feel like is a catastrophe, he just looks at me and starts laughing like, you don't even know.
Wait, how old are your kids?
I have 2 9-year-olds. They'll be 10 in October.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
And yours are?
20, 25, and 30.
Yeah. See, mine are 25 and 23. So I feel for you.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have twins, you get the double whammy.
I do. I do.
The double whammy. Now, sorry, girl, boy, girl, what's it?
I have boy-girl twins. Whenever I tell people I have boy-girl twins, the next question usually is, are they identical? And then I have to tell them, no, one's a boy and one's a girl.
Like, but you never hear that fraternal thing,
No.
So, but that, so yeah. And even then.
And they come to the club like they own the place too. Like they'll just walk in.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Remember last December, my son walked backstage and he's like, hey, Vaughn. Hi, Jared. Hi, Santa. He didn't call me Jared. I said that. My son doesn't call me my first name. It just came out.
But there's probably.
But he just walks like he acts like he just owns the place. Kind of.
Well, it's home. We built a space that's a community, and it's home. Everybody that walks in it's their home. It's part of their community. So of course, when Jared's kids walk in, it's home. It's not like, oh, this is dad's work. It's like, oh, this is home. When our students come in or our performers come in, I tell them welcome home. And they're like, oh, that's so cool. You say welcome home. It's like, well, this is your home. This is your home away from home. This is your place where you can have community and laugh and relax and forget about the stresses you have at work or home. So yeah, so of course Dax is like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to the instructional aspect of the comedy arena, is that a semester thing, or is that I just want to go to these 3 different classes? How does that work?
There's a couple of different ways right now. We're offering 6-week classes for most of our offerings. So you go after 6 weeks to kind of learn, and it's all scaffold based, right? So you really need week 1 to understand week 2 to understand week 3. You can probably miss 1 or if necessary, but it all kind of builds to something. We do have one-off classes that are maybe just like 3 hours and you're one and done. We have some intensives that might last a full weekend. We're just trying to meet students at their point of need. Not everyone has the availability. Some people are like, look, after their 9 to 5, they're done. They're spent. They don't want to go sit in a space and learn. But it's a different classroom. We're not like sitting at tables like with textbooks. This is like on your feet, engaging, interacting with other people.
Unless it's a writing class, then you are sitting at a table.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Sketch writing, stand up.
But also those people will still get up on their feet and they'll read what they put up there.
Yeah, they'll stand up.
So it's not a typical like night class where you're learning another language, although you are learning almost essentially a completely different language.
But it's not like rubber chicken and clown nose, right? It's
we'll teach you is why that's funny. And then you can find other reasons to do things that are also funny. So no, we don't. The rubber chicken class, we got rid of that one. That wasn't selling.
It wasn't selling. People weren't signing up.
Yeah,
they kept stealing the chickens.
Yeah, we lost a lot of chickens in that process. Chattering teeth went away, and all those banana peels. Gone.
Oh yeah, the banana peels. Those are fun.
Those are fun. Banana peels and clown car, right? So
to lower insurance.
Yeah. So now you shared that you were going to the Addison Arena, having the same meal, checking it out. Now the comedy arena. Walk us through the experience, because you guys have something every night of the week.
Well, we're open not every night of the week, but Tuesdays we have our free. It's like our free nights. We have our open mics, and we also have our comedy improv jams.
Okay.
We actually have one happening tonight, which is Tuesday. I don't know when this is going to air, but Tuesday nights.
About 3 weeks. From
Tuesdays.
Now, so.
Tuesdays we have.
We had an awesome one 3 weeks ago. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
Should have been there 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. So Tuesdays we're open to the public, and those are kind of like our free nights. You can kind of go check out the club, and then Wednesdays we're typically closed. I say closed, but we have our classes usually during those days. Thursdays we have late night shows as well. We're open Fridays and Saturdays, and some Sundays we'll have some student showcases as well. The flow of our club, usually people go online, purchase their tickets there, which is what we usually recommend because our shows do sell out. Our club is very intimate. We seat about 65 people. So shows do sell out. So we tell people, get online, get your tickets right away. People come in. First thing they do is they walk in. They are in our lounge area. There's couches, there's tables, there's our bars there. They're usually greeted by our bartender.
So they don't have to go down to the gas station anymore.
No more gas station hooch. We have our own hooch.
So you don't have a bunch of brown bags left over?
Nope, not anymore. Those days are gone. No more coolers. But yeah, so
it's like tailgating at a show.
It was. People would bring in their own coolers. It was a fun time.
So they come in. They enjoy an adult beverage, and then.
They can come in, and usually what we do is the theater is on our second floor, so they'll hang out until the room is ready. They'll grab a drink or they'll grab an appetizer and just hang out there for a little bit. Once the house is open, they'll make their way upstairs to the second floor. At the top of the stairs is our box office. They'll check into the box office window. We'll get them sat. usually we'll get them a tab started for them. And then we have full tableside service. So server comes to your table, they can take your order, and food is delivered right to your table.
So you have a kitchen now. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, we have a full kitchen. We serve everything from flatbreads to pizzas to wings to burgers to tacos. I mean, we have a pretty extensive menu.
Do you have things for people who are gluten or dairy?
Yeah, we have this. Actually, one of our best pizzas is our gluten-free cauliflower crust pizzas.
How about that?
People love that, and we also have cauliflower bites. So anything that could have chicken in it, we can replace it with cauliflower. So yeah, pretty versatile.
Does cauliflower taste like chicken also?
Everything tastes like chicken. Or does chicken taste like cauliflower?
That's
I don't know.
Or does chicken taste like everything?
Yeah, chicken tastes like everything.
We've all heard that. Like, what is this? It tastes like chicken.
Okay. After the show, people, before people would just leave.
Mm-hmm.
But now, after the show, they can hang out downstairs and have another drink, just hang out for, whatever. And we also sometimes run these specials where it's like, if you saw the first show, if there's tickets available, you can see the second show for just $5.
Really?
So some people make the entire evening of it.
Mm-hmm.
You can probably see a show, 3 shows for less than $40. Just come and see the first show and just stay, and people just hang out all night.
How about that?
And we're also in the process of potentially adding, we have a rooftop patio now, but it's kind of communal for the building, but we're looking into potentially taking it over ourselves, making it private just for our club.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that'll be something we could be in. Have more people hang out.
How about that? You've got a great big neon sign just right there and an excellent view of the city.
Yeah.
And what about parking? What do we do for parking?
Well, we are literally, our building's right in front of the parking garage.
That's right.
Which was not there when we moved in.
No.
So we got to sit through that construction to watch that parking garage be constructed. But the way I looked at it, they built it for us because we were the only business in the building at the time. So it must have been just for us. But yeah, now there's a huge parking garage and nobody has, I don't think we've ever had really any problems with people finding a spot to park.
No, even during the festivals and all that,
Mm-hmm.
Things, we're still doing our thing and people still are coming.
Yeah, that parking garage is a hidden gem.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people about it all the time, but as a photographer, many times I'll bring, people up there to get a shot of the city as the sun is setting back there. And aside from, maybe some teenagers,
Yeah.
kind of little.
They got to find a place to hang out.
That's right, to hang out. But it's always so easy to get to, and it's the perfect location to access the rest of downtown. But why would they? Because once they come to the comedy arena,
that's all they have to go to.
they've got their food, their bev, air conditioning.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
actually, this
entertainment.
past weekend, I had a customer come in, and her daughter was like, "This air conditioning, it's so cold in here." And I said, "You're welcome." And her mom was like, "She doesn't know. She doesn't." I was like, "Yeah, you're welcome. Air conditioning should be cold. That's why it's called air conditioning." But yeah,
It's also right in front of the trolley stop.
That's right. And then if you have a penchant for video games or cigars, those are literally right around the corner from you also.
yeah, we're like the unofficial entertainment district of downtown McKinney.
Okay, so we've got just a few moments left. Give us a plug for why they need to turn up.
What else are you going to do this weekend, right? Here's the thing. It's an option for you to solve everybody's needs of what to do tonight. What do you want to eat? I don't know. We got food for you. What do you want to drink? I don't know. We got drinks for you. You want to be entertained? We can take care of that for you as well. And it's nothing that's going to be, it's not going to make the car ride home awkward afterwards. It's going to be a really good, fun time and something to talk about for the rest of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's live entertainment. I mean, it's not Netflix. It's not a movie. It's not scrolling on your phone. It's literally people on stage doing a thing to make you laugh. There's really not a lot of live entertainment that's not expensive. An $80 ticket to go see a concert or to go see a play, a $30, $50 ticket. It's like less than $30. You can come see live entertainment on stage, people singing, dancing. I mean, we have musical improv, we have sketch comedy,
It's also interactive too. Like we provided a sort of entertainment where you're almost a part of the show if you want to be. We're not forcing anyone to do anything they don't want to do, but you have that option if that's of interest to you.
Yeah, I mean, we have shows where the audience gets to physically vote who they think is the funniest. It's like what's Last Comic Standing, where you have to call in and wait to see who wins. You get to do that within an hour. We have our stand-up showdown show, which has 5 comics, and the audience gets to vote on their phones which comic gets to move to the next round. I mean, that's like live entertainment in front of you. So yeah, live entertainment is the way to go.
All right. Okay. Well, we have come to the end of our recording time. I just want to thank Jared and Vaughn with the Comedy Arena. If you have not been down there, if you have not, this is going to be my plug for it. You get everything, and you only have to park the car once. You only have to park the car once.
And I'll say this too, Fred. We can always bring our show to you.
Y'all still have the tool chest with the sound system?
We do, actually. Yeah, we travel all the time. We go to different places all the time. So I'm just saying that, for big events, big or small, if they're looking for that sort of thing, rather than bring out the, an alternative to axe throwing or alternative to, what's one of those other ones we get a lot? I'm just saying that there's other opportunities where we can bring what we offer to
humor
somebody.
and levity
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
Excellent. I love that. So that's Jared. This is Vaughn. And this is the McKinney Podcast, where we celebrate what makes us unique by nature. We'll see you in the next one.